I received a call the other day from a gentleman who believed very strongly that he had a valid medical malpractice case against his doctor. And he said to me, listen, I want you to start my lawsuit today because I'm going out of town and I need this done today. I said, oh really? I know what this is about? Come join me on this walk through the neighborhood as I share with you exactly what this is all about. Hi, I'm Gerry Oginski. I'm a New York medical malpractice and personal injury attorney. Okay, so I received a call from someone who believed that they had a valid medical malpractice case and wanted to know whether I would be interested in representing him. So one of the first things I asked him was, I said, when did this happen? And you know what he said to me? He said, I don't care when this happened. I want you to start my lawsuit today. I'm leaving and this has to be done. I said, it's critically important for me to know when the wrongdoing happened because every one of these types of cases, especially involving medical malpractice, has very strict time limits within which you, the injured patient, has to bring a case. So I asked him some more details about when the wrongdoing happened, and it turned out that he was timely. Okay, the next thing I needed to ask him, and did ask him, was, where did this happen? And again, he got belligerent with me. He's like, what difference does it make where it happened? I live in New York. I need to go ahead and bring this lawsuit. I said, it's critically important for me to know where this happened. First, I need to make sure that this did in fact happen in New York because I only practice law in New York. If it happened in another state, then I couldn't help him. Then I asked him, what hospital did you receive this treatment in? And again, he's like, what difference does it make? Just start my lawsuit. I'll come in, I'll sign the papers today, and you go ahead and start the case. And then I had to tell him, listen, it matters greatly what hospital. You don't want to know why? It's because there are private hospitals, and there are municipal hospitals, and there are state-run hospitals. And each one of those hospitals have different time limits within which to bring a lawsuit. So if your matter happened in a municipal hospital, now you've got a problem. Why? Because your matter would not be timely. If this matter happened in a private hospital, then yes, your matter would be timely. Okay? It turns out that his matter did occur in a private hospital, so he had enough time, he had plenty of time within which to go ahead and bring a case. So then he turns around and says, okay, so let me come in, I'll sign the paperwork, and you go ahead and start my case. I said, listen, this is not a car accident matter, okay? And because of that, you cannot start your case today. And he's like, what do you mean? If I'm involved in a car accident in New York, I go ahead, find an attorney, and they can go ahead and file the paperwork right away. It's the same day. I said, well, as I mentioned, this is not a car accident matter. In a medical malpractice case, I explained, we have to do a number of things. We have to do a detailed and thorough investigation to first evaluate whether or not you have a valid basis for a case. He said, I'm telling you I have a valid basis for a case. You may believe that you have a valid basis for a case, but the law does not accept your analysis of this case as justification to go forward with the case. He said, what does that mean? I said, you can't be the one to determine whether or not you have a valid basis for a case. That's what it means. He's like, well, what do I need to go ahead and prove a case? I said, here's what we need. We need to be able to show, number one, that your doctor was careless. Number two, we need to be able to show that his carelessness was a cause of your injury. Number three, we need to be able to show that your injuries are significant and permanent. And he said, yes, I have all of those things. I said, hold on there, Tiger. I said, we need a medical expert to then confirm each one of those elements in order to go ahead and start a case on your behalf. And all you hear was silence on the phone. I said to him, has any doctor confirmed your belief that something was done wrong? And again, I just hear silence, which tells me that the answer is no. So I asked him, I said, has any doctor confirmed your belief that something was done wrong? And he's like, well, no one actually came out and said it. I said, okay. Has any doctor confirmed your belief that any wrongdoing was a cause of your injury? And then he starts giving this long-winded explanation, basically saying, listen, I went to the hospital fine, and I came out with all these problems and injuries. I said, but that doesn't mean it's all a result of somebody's improper medical care. You might have undergone a procedure that had unintended complications or unintended results. Even if you do have the best care under the sun, it is still possible to wind up with an imperfect result or a complication. And again, all I heard was silence on the phone. Now, it was as if I deflated all of his bluster and his ego, and now is no longer, hey, you got to start my case right now, to, oh, now I understand. Okay, so tell me more. This gentleman clearly didn't have an understanding of exactly what's needed for an attorney to properly evaluate a case. And so I had to explain a little bit more. And what I told him was, listen, we have to go ahead and obtain all of your medical records. Not just some records, not just 1 or 2 records that you want to give me. We have to obtain all the medical records surrounding the events of this matter. And now, once I obtain them, I actually have to review them. I have to go through them page by page to determine what was done and why. And then I have to hire a medical expert and send him all of the records that we obtained. And then I have to wait for our expert to come back to me and tell me he's reviewed the records and now here are his conclusions and opinions. Only at that point can I come back to you and give you an educated answer about whether or not you have a valid basis for a case. At that point, that is the only time in which I can come back to you and tell you, yes, you do have a valid case, or no, I'm sorry, you don't, and I won't be able to help you. So why do I share this great information with you? I share it with you just to open your eyes to what this guy expected based upon his prior experience with a car accident attorney and with a car accident that he was involved with, thinking that if he simply calls up a malpractice attorney, he could go ahead and start this case immediately. And the reality was, he couldn't start his case right away. A detailed, thorough investigation has to be done in order to go ahead and properly analyze whether or not he does in fact have a case. You know, I realize you're likely watching this video because you're enjoying the scenery. Well, I hope you're enjoying the scenery. I am as well. No, but I realize you have questions or concerns about your own matter. Well, if your matter did happen in New York and you're thinking about bringing a lawsuit but haven't done so yet because you still have questions that need to be answered, what I invite you to do is pick up the phone and call me. You know, I answer questions like yours every single day and I'd love to talk to you. You can reach me at 516-487-8207 or by email at Gerry, Gerry, at Oginski-law.com. That's it for today's video. I'm Gerry Oginski. Have a fantastic day.